Hi there, it's Quinn with PTSD While Black. Just doing a check-in post meditation. Um, so the card for this week is about generosity, give and take, um, receiving, knowing that the benefits that we have in life come from the generosity of others. And what was coming up for me with this, what I started reflecting on, is realizing that some of the people who were involved in the initiation of the gang stalking thought that they were being generous people, um, especially when they were listening to me whine all the time about the death of my cat and my feelings about um, certain people. And there's this feeling of, what you have in life is given from the generosity of others. And I've been one of those toxic givers in the past as well of I'm giving so then you would have to give back to me in some way or to respect me or to get that I got my self-worth out of giving to others. And I've learned like through my recovery journey that giving is instead a way to get out of my selfishness, my self-centered fear, my self-centered beliefs. Especially when I've gotten stuck on being dishonest with myself or hiding from my own truth. um, Being of service to others helps me to get away from that type of thinking. That's just part of the process in like 12-step work. It's step 10. Um, so for the meditation for this week, for me, Six of Pentacles being about giving and receiving and generosity. What came up for me is I know or I've gotten the inclination that there are probably some people who were involved in the gang stalking that maybe believed what was told to them by the initiators, or maybe even if it's any of the initiators who are seeing the error of their ways and they're wanting to change their behaviors but feel too embarrassed or too afraid to change their behavior because they can't and don't want to admit they're wrong in any kind of way. It's like, how can you give and receive? How do you correct your behavior in those moments? Or as those who believe the lies and acted upon them or did reporting to the people who initiated the gang stalking, how do we change our behavior in that situation? And one of the biggest things that came to mind, which has always been like the center of my truth, is honoring the autonomy of the person that you didn't believe. Honoring that that person has their own reality. You don't have to choose to believe that reality. You don't have to choose to act upon that reality, but just honoring and accepting that that person has their own reality. Um, so for example, for me, for those who want to make amends to me, accepting that I'm somebody who does live with a brain injury, who does have memory loss, okay? Um, who does have issues with language and also quick fluctuating emotions, and that's not something that I can always have control over. Sometimes it surprises the hell out of me. If you can just accept that that's part of my reality and that you don't have to act on it, you don't have to punish, fix, control, or change anything, that's a big step in the right direction towards making that amends. If you can accept that, again, uh, I speak for myself because this is my channel, this is my vlog. Um, but also for other victims of gang stalking, they probably have PTSD as a result of what has been done. And accepting that they may be having a trauma response through what's gone on, um, allowing and acknowledging that that reality is real goes a long way. Um, Looking at yourself as to why you chose to believe or to follow or to act upon the things that you were misinformed about, that goes a long way. Some people were promised money. Maybe they were promised a gift card, clout, drugs, sex, rock and roll, whatever, fame, fortune. May have been promised whatever, and you thought it was the best decision for you at that time. Investigate why you chose that decision. What else you could have done, and how can you do it differently in the future? that is also steps in the right direction to change the behavior. And what would you do differently knowing now what you know? Would you instead maybe, instead of being told some information about someone, you would actually talk to that person to get to know what their reality is, what their side of the story is, hear both sides? I know it's so funny. I think of Republicans all the time in the news will say, I want to hear both sides before I make a judgment. We'll do that. That's one of the things about me is that I've gotten to where I wanna hear both sides before I make a judgment. Sometimes I will make the quick emotional judgment, and then I'll realize that, "Oh, crap, I made the wrong move too fast," and then I have to make amends for making that quick judgment. Okay, we're human. That's what we do, right? And I think that's part of the giving and receiving, the generosity that we can have towards one another and our own humanity of of creating the change so that these systems of control, fear, and oppression don't have to keep existing. So, if you want to make an amends to me, here's a couple of things that you can do. Oh, shit. No, this is the other thing. I'm so sorry. The other thing that I'm realizing that I'm feeling energetically, thank you to those who have been wishing me well, who've been wishing good health for me. Um, Thank you. I really appreciate that. Those who are going above and beyond and who perhaps are doing any type of energy manipulation, Reiki, or matrix coding, magic, what have you, I ask for those individuals to please stop. Um, because it's kind of manipulation. You haven't asked my permission to do that to me. I appreciate that you care, but that's it doesn't work very well. In fact, it can cause some backlash for me because 1, I'm a survivor of rape, so that's having something forced on me. 2, I'm a hypnotherapist, and I know that when we try to force things on others, it's not lasting. It's not a lasting change that can be created in that person's life. Um and 3, in my recovery process, I'm learning to trust my own autonomy. I'm learning to trust my own body, what I can and cannot do. And so that creates a false sense of security and reality. If someone is doing energy manipulation work and, yay, I'm feeling great, I think I can do shit. And then I go to sweep the floor and my back goes out or what have you. It's those things I'd ask you to please don't do energy manipulation on me. That's kind of why a lot of the spell work has gone back on a lot of people. Um, those who are trying to do angry spell work, or if you're trying to do positive spell work, your shit will go back because I'm not the one for it. You have to get my permission first. Consent. It's real. Um, but what I do ask is as a amends, I don't want your pity for my pain. I don't want your pity for my seizures or my concussion or the PTSD. I don't want your pity. I don't need pity. I do need acceptance. I do need understanding. And if you cannot accept or understand, then just don't say anything at all. That's also the next best thing that you can do. Ask yourself, why can't I accept or understand this person's situation? That's much more helpful than trying to change other people. God, I'm learning that myself a lot. Um, and I made notes because I can't remember shit today. um, but I'm wanting empowerment to heal and believe in myself. That's what I'm wanting. Is to be empowered to believe in my body's ability to heal itself, to be empowered to trust my body and my energy levels as they are. Because then I've noticed I've gotten so much further, um, trusting when I need rest or trusting that I do have the capacity to do a certain thing and that, oh, the next right thing might be to put ice on my back or ice on my head. I'm getting a lot further in my recovery doing that than I am trying to force myself through it or to just get over it or to stop and not do anything at all. So I'm just wanting to own that. But I'm finding what works for me is naming my feelings, naming my needs, naming and owning what are my goals. Um, Communication. If you really care about me or you care about fixing your part in something, communicate directly with me. If you're sending memes, sending videos, does not work. Email, text, a comment on one of my videos, a phone call, those are things that are correcting the behavior with me. Anything else is just yelling out in the wind. And I do not consider smoke signals as messages because that's part of my recovery. Um, Acceptance. Just accepting what is a big path forward. Um, and if you're wanting to really feeling that urge to do energy manipulation, I have to do the same thing for myself. I ask my friends and family when I'm struggling, I'll say, will you pray or send good wishes, send good intentions, whatever your spiritual practice is. I'm not Christian, but I say pray because it's common language. We've been indoctrinated with. um, Send blessings that I will carry out the will of my highest self, of the divine, of the highest good. Pray that Quinn will carry out the will of her highest self, the divine, her highest good. And that always works because that's in alignment with who and what I am. I'm seeking to be in alignment with that of the divine and my highest good. So that prayer works. That prayer works. That's a form of energy we can do all day and not have any kind of backlash from it. And that's what I do cuz like I catch myself like really concerned about what someone's going through and I'm wanting to change it and I have to stop and realize that they have their highest self, their 80-year-old, 10,000-year-old self that has gone through this and is able to see the wisdom in the situation, and I send my energy there to that maybe they connect in with their highest self. Um so yeah, their self who's aware, more aware than they are in the moment of the suffering, which may be themselves in 2 hours, 2 days, 2 years, 2,000,000 years, whatever. But to respect that autonomy, to respect that energy exchange. Um I find it very beneficial. And so I'm just offering that as well. Um yeah, I'm offering that as well to those who are well wishers, those who do not wish me well and did not wish me well, but they want to wish me well eventually, but they're just not in that place to do it. Just letting you know that's a place you can go to do that and do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. I think if we all spent more time trying to connect in with our highest selves, the selves of us who've processed all these uncomfortable feelings that we have today, there'd be a lot less suffering, or at least we would have greater understanding of our suffering. So that was the meditation today. That was the giving and receiving and the generosity. And I'm realizing too, when I'm in resentment, this is one of the things that it's in the Alcoholics Anonymous big book. All the 12-step programs use the AA literature as their base literature. So if you're working even with food issues or emotional issues or relationships, what have you, you can use that same 12-step structure. But in that book, it has this thing of when you're even angry at someone else, pray for them to have all the good things that you'd want for yourself. Because it does two things. One, you think about that person in a new light. Two, you're naming for yourself what you want for yourself. And that only does more good. So, yeah, I thought I would share this and spread the love that maybe we can create some change together. All right, that's a thought. Have a great night, everyone, and till next time, peace.